Start recording. Okay, tell me whenever the group is ready, please go ahead.
Perfect. Hi, we are the Jewish Student Association at Minnesota State University Mankato. My name is Talia. I'm the vice president.
I'm Abigail. I'm the president.
Hi, I'm Rachel. I'm the faculty advisor.
And we're here to just chat with you today a little bit about fasting.
So first, we're just kind of gonna oversimplify Judaism. So it's the first Abrahamic religion. It is over 3,000 years old. So on the right, you can kind of see where, how it diverted, I guess, for it and made new, I forgot where I was going with that, but so yeah, there's Abraham, and he had two sons. There's Ishmael, who was the son of Hagar, and that is what went into Islam. And then there is Isaac, who was the son of Sarah, and that eventually went into Judaism, which is the study of the Torah and Talmud. But then there also is Christianity that came from that as well. It is also an ethno-religion and culture. So that means that it is, you can be born Jewish without religiously practicing it, but you can also, for converts, they usually take, the religious route, but once they convert, they are also ethnically Jewish then. There are tons of ethnicities, such as there's Ashkenazi, Mizrahi, Sephardic, and then at the bottom, there is some branchings of Judaism, such as Reform and Orthodox, and all of those have their own accompanied cultures.
So with fasting, there are some rules that we follow during fast days. So of course, with fasting, there's no eating or drinking during those fast days. There's no fasting if one has a health condition or is pregnant. And then there's no fasting on Shabbat, which is the Sabbath, which is on Friday to Saturday, except if one of the major fast days, Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, falls on Shabbat. There's no fasting during the month of Nisan, which Judaism follows the lunar calendar. So Nisan is a month on that calendar. And then there's no fasting if you are a rabbi, teacher, security, or essential personnel. But there's modern interpretations with that. So some rabbis will fast and some will not.
So there are two different types of fasting. There's minor and major. So for minor, that is just dusk till dawn. So that's about 12 hours. There is 4 of those. There is the fast of Gadala, which is the morning of his assassination, which is a symbolism of the end of a self-governing Judean community. There is also the 17th of Tammuz, which is the start of a 3-week mourning period, and it is mourning for the destruction of Jerusalem and also the 2 holy temples. That connects to the 10th of Tevet, which is seen as the day when Babylonian siege of Jerusalem, which led to the first exile from Israel. And then there is the fast of Esther, which is, well, the other are definitely a sense of mourning. The fast of Esther commemorates the 3-day fast observed by the Jewish people during on Purim Eve, which is time when there is I think a governor or something, and he was like, I'm gonna kill the Jewish people in this town, and they're like, we are not gonna let that happen. There was a 3-day fast that was oversimplified, but so it's on the eve of Purim.
And then we also have some major fast days. The first one is Yom Kippur, which is the Day of Atonement. This is the most important holiday in the Jewish faith. This day is where Jews are encouraged to make amends and ask forgiveness for sins committed during their past year. And the Torah commands that all Jewish adults, which is after their bar bat mitzvah, which would be for teens 12 and up, to abstain from eating and drinking between sundown on the evening before and nightfall the next day. The next one is Tisha B'Av, which is the Day of Remembrance, and this is the saddest day on the calendar, as this date marks the destruction of the Holy Temple in Jerusalem. And then this one also has some different things that we don't do. So we won't wear leather footwear, we won't bathe or wash ourselves, we won't study Torah, we won't engage in marital relations or any other form of intimacy, and we won't sit on a normal height chair or any form of that.
So, as we kind of mentioned, there are days when there is no fasting. It falls on other minor holidays, such as Rosh Chodesh, which is the beginning of each new month. There is Ishru Chag, which is which is like days following a few other minor holidays. There is Hanukkah, which, yes, that is a minor holiday. There's Purim, and then there is the 15th of Av and Shvat, which is the 15th of Av is the, I believe, holiday of love, and then the 15th of Shvat is the tree new year. So yeah, those are more celebratory.
So there's also another major time that a lot of people will fast, and this is on their wedding day for Jewish couples. This is an ancient tradition that advises the bride and groom to fast on their day of their wedding. And this applies to both of those who are marrying for the first time and remarrying. So the bride and groom will fast from daybreak until after the chuppah, which is the wedding ceremony. And they will break this fast by eating their first meal in the yichud room, which is the private room where brides and grooms go after the wedding ceremony to be alone until they party after that. So this day is a pretty important day for Jewish couples planning their weddings. And then here's just some of our references.
Stop sharing the screen and take questions. Are there questions?
Any questions from the class? Anything you're curious about or not sure or curious? Maybe it's because it's so early in the morning. Usually there's questions. Any questions?
This was a wonderful presentation. Thank you. I'm wondering how serious students of college age take the fasting days that you've spoken about.
I think that depends on the college student. I think that, you know, just like any religion, Jews are not monolithic. We're all very different. So some people become more religious when they go to college if they came from a more secular home. We are a very small population here in Mankato, and so we're very varied from one another. But I think that the more Jewish community you can find around you, then it encourages you to give all of these things a try and to find a place to do it with others.
I had a question. I was wondering, is there a synagogue in Mankato?
There is not a synagogue in Mankato, but there are organizations around the Mankato area in Rochester, which is the closest synagogue.
That's the one I've seen when I was in Rochester. I took my daughter there and I saw it. So for Jewish students in Mankato, for like Shabbat, what do they do? Do they just get together and celebrate, or how do they?
So we are a very new group. Just reestablished a Jewish Student Association this year. So we've done just some minor events, but in the future we're hoping to have like a Shabbat dinner once a month or some sort of monthly thing that we do. So yeah.
We're also at Passover Seder next week.
Oh, okay.
So
Will that
that'll
be
be a nice
in the public?
celebration. And one thing to know about Judaism is that Jews are not required to worship in temples, so there's just only one temple, right? And it's been destroyed, so all of our synagogues are just meeting houses. They store Torahs and that, you know, the arks can be a sacred place. But Shabbat can be celebrated just anywhere. It's home-based dinner and celebration, a time of rest and commemoration and coming together. And then some people choose to not, you know, use money, do work, you know, all day Saturday, but Shabbat dinner on Friday. We don't have really a place to gather together. We don't even have enough people for a minyan, which is what you would need to open the ark and, you know, read the Torah together. So we do our best.
Okay. But these, so when you said, you talk about Pesach and Shabbat, do you do that open to the public or you just get together, the students?
We're just having a small Passover Seder, about a dozen of us. So some things we do open to the public, like our Purim party and such, and then sometimes we just make a Jewish space for those that are practicing Judaism.
Yeah, but so I noticed all of the, on the boards, well, because I teach at Minnesota State as well, I noticed some of the posters, I was like, wow, I hadn't seen this in years that I've been here. So it's very interesting to see that.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we have any questions that may have come up? Yeah. I asked them, right? See,
Event that they do for like the 12-year-olds, how does that work? Like,
Can you say it
Can you
again?
repeat?
the event that you guys do for the 12-year-olds, how does that work, or how does that like play out throughout the day?
mix up.
Yeah.
So, for bar and bat mitzvahs, so, a bat mitzvah is for, Jewish females. And that happens when they are 12. So I personally had mine a few years ago, and that happens. So before even having my ceremony and all that, I attended, Saturday school where I worked with teens that already had their bar and bat mitzvahs to teach the prayers that will be recited on the Shabbat ceremony. And then we also learn a Torah portion, which that Torah portion depends on when your bar mitzvah is. So pretty much from usually starting in 5th or 6th grade, we start going to Saturday school to learn prayers and learn all about what a bat mitzvah looks like. And then we usually try and have a date closer to the birthday of like 12-year-old or 13. So mine was a week before I turned 13. And pretty much we read Torah during the morning service on the days that we read Torah, which I believe is Tuesday and Thursday. And then we have a Friday night service. And then we have a large service on Saturday where we read Torah, we do all the prayers, we celebrate and all that stuff.
And then a big party.
Yeah.
I applaud you for, excuse me, getting the Jewish Student Association up and running. And I'm wondering how you are being accepted on campus.
I think that people are happy that we're here. Certainly all the leadership hasn't seen a group like this for many years. So there's, and it really started with our president and vice president this year, finding each other and finding me. And we have about, I think, 7 Jewish students who are with us and signed up for Passover Seder, etc. So I think that overall, there's been a lot of acceptance for our student group.
Good.
Any final questions before we go back to class? Talia, again, Rachel, thank you so much for your time and really appreciate this.
Okay, shalom, shalom. Everyone have a nice day.
Thank you.
Okay.
If there are any more questions, you can go ahead and email them to me and I'll be happy to pass them along to people and answer them for you.
At any time, if you ever have questions, reach out to us and we'd love to communicate.
Thank you so much, I appreciate it.
Hey.